I felt like watching this whole thing play out was really interesting in terms of realizing I don't think Meghan Markle really has any friends.
No, she doesn't. And she is the most insecure person I have seen in the public eye in a long time.
Daily drama, real tea, no filters, just mic drop daily. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's be honest, nobody saw this coming. Meghan Markle's cozy little Netflix cooking scene, it's turning into a full-blown internet disaster. What should have been a chill, homey moment showing off her real side is now the exact thing folks are dragging her for. And the drama, it ain't about her recipe, it's about that kitchen. This wasn't some flour on the apron, sauce on the stove type of vibe. Nah, the place was giving surgical sweet. That all-white setup was so spotless, it didn't even feel lived in. No crumbs, no dishes, no life. It looked like she was filming in a furniture store, or better yet, one of those cold Airbnb listings where you're scared to sit on the couch. And there she was, Meghan, all smiles in the middle of it, pretending like this was just another Saturday morning in her normal world. But viewers weren't buying it. Folks online clowned her, saying it looked more like she rented the place for the shoot than actually lived there. No fingerprints on the fridge, not even a speck of seasoning out. It was too perfect. And that's exactly what made it weird. My Luke, my look. Yeah, she really said that. And that was just the intro. The real chaos kicked off the second Meghan picked up a knife. And the internet did not hold back. Within minutes of that footage dropping, social media was lit up like New Year's in Times Square, but not with praise. This wasn't giving Hugo Girl. It was giving help her, please. People were dying over how she held those utensils. Like she'd never chopped a thing in her life. It looked like someone trying to slice fruit for the first time. While following a muted YouTube tutorial with 144p resolution, viewers were shook. It wasn't just awkward. It was straight up unreal. And what made it worse? The ingredients? They didn't come out of a bag. No fridge opened, no packages torn, no oops, dropped the lemon. Just perfect, untouched ingredients placed in those tiny little glass prep bowls like she was cooking on Sesame Street. It was giving TV infomercial, not actual kitchen. Everything felt staged to the max. Like she was there to sell a $500 blender, not make a meal. And just when it couldn't get more awkward, boom, Megyn Kelly stepped in and lit the whole thing on fire. On her podcast, Kelly dragged it all to pieces. She clowned the sterile vibe, Meghan's awkward knife skills, and how fake the whole setup felt. She called out the set for being too clean, the energy for being robotic, and the whole vibe as creepy perfect. It wasn't a home, it was a showroom. And Meghan? She looked more like a host on a fake food channel than someone actually cooking dinner. Bad watch? That's an understatement. Meghan says it's not supposed to be real life. But here's the problem. She wasn't giving us a slice of reality. She was selling a fantasy that doesn't even exist. A world where meals prep themselves, outfits stay blindingly white, and crumbs, they don't dare show up. And let's be real, that hit a nerve because folks could feel the fakery. The deeper people looked, the more obvious it got. This wasn't about sharing a vibe. It was about crafting an illusion. This wasn't Meghan's world. It was her wish list. Every frame screamed control. The smiles looked printed on. The facial expressions? Stiff. The sound bites rolled out like she'd rehearsed them in a mirror 100 times. And the internet? Oh, they clocked it fast. Memes flew like wildfire. One showed Meghan sprinkling salt on a banana. Another had her holding a cookbook upside down. Hashtags were going crazy, and Duchess of Delusion whined stage Sussex trending for hours, Raymond. And Megyn Kelly? She just kept pouring gas on the fire. Kelly wasn't buying the act, not for a second. She dragged the whole thing, said Meghan's not relatable, she's just playing a part. Badly. And honestly, she had a point. Netflix thought they were getting something real, something raw, a peek behind the palace curtains. What they got was a choreographed commercial with fruit arranged like a still life painting by a gloved assistant. Nothing felt lived in, nothing felt warm. It was all cold lighting, stiff smiles, and a duchess trying way too hard to look normal. But the thing is, you can't fake real life. The scene gave corporate catalog, not cooking show. No noise, no mess, no kids running through, not even a single piece of burnt toast. Where's the dog barking? Where's the spilled juice? Where's the chaos that every parent knows too well? Gone. scrubbed out, airbrushed into oblivion. It was Meghan trying to convince the world she's just like us, while standing 10 feet away from anything remotely real. And that was the biggest red flag. This wasn't just about a fake kitchen or prepped ingredients, it was the vibe. People felt it. They smelled the performance. The disconnect between her words and what we saw on screen was too sharp to ignore. And the worst part, this hit right at the core of Meghan's brand. Her whole image has been built around being the relatable one, the mom who gets it, the woman balancing a million things like the rest of us. But there she was, putting together fruit trays that looked straight out of the Louvre, while casually chatting about how hectic her mornings are. The internet saw through it instantly, and they didn't hold back. One clip had Meghan saying this is how she preps breakfast while getting her kids ready for school. French press coffee, sculpted fruit skewers, flawless smile and all. And the internet instantly said, "Girl, be for real." Folks weren't buying it. The scene looked like it came straight out of a luxury kitchen catalog, not a regular Tuesday morning with toddlers running wild and cereal on the floor. The backlash didn't blow up because people hate cooking shows. Nah, this hit different. Audiences today can smell fake from across the screen, and Meghan's segment, it was practically dripping in it. Viewers are craving the real now, crumbs on the counter, noisy kids in the background, and that one egg that always burns no matter how careful you are. Instead, Meghan showed up in a spotless white outfit, whisking eggs like she was prepping for Vogue, not preschool drop-off, not a stain in sight. Come on now. And then came the behind-the-scenes whispers. Word started leaking that even Netflix wasn't happy with what they got. Executives were reportedly expecting something raw and intimate, real life in the kitchen, not a commercial shoot with lighting rigs and choreographed bowl placements. One insider even called the final cut emotionless and cosmetic. Another claimed Meghan demanded full control over every detail, every single scene. From lighting to angles to which bowl sat where, at that point it stopped being a documentary and started looking like a royal lifestyle ad with a side of fake whisking. Megyn Kelly didn't hold back either. She basically echoed what Netflix insiders were probably thinking but couldn't say out loud. This wasn't storytelling, it was staging. Instead of building a real connection with viewers, Meghan came off like she was trying to impress them. But it backfired. Hard. People don't like being sold a fantasy wrapped in a smile. They want real. And this wasn't it. The internet started digging. Side-by-side screenshots popped up comparing Meghan's cooking segment kitchen to clips of her actual Montecito home. And yeah, the difference was wild. The segment looked nothing like a lived-in family kitchen. It screamed Airbnb staged for influencers. The stove was untouched. The fruit bowls were lined up like soldiers. Even the background felt off, like a photo shoot set, not a home. And then there was her delivery. The way she talked felt scripted to death. Her laugh was so perfectly timed, it felt like someone pressed a button in post-production. It wasn't conversation, it was Instagram-ready sound bites. It was giving, please sponsor me, not welcome to my world. And that's what broke it all down, authenticity, or more like the lack of it. No one needed Meghan to be a Michelin chef or a perfect mom. They just wanted something real. But instead, she handed over a plastic version of life. Instead of fixing her image, she handed critics everything they needed to tear it to shreds. And it didn't just end with online memes. This hit her brand deep. People didn't just mock the cooking scene. They started doubting everything she's been pushing. The relatable Duchess, the mom next door vibe, the down-to-earth humanitarian, all of it started looking like a polished performance from day one. And that's exactly where Megyn Kelly's words struck hardest. She didn't go for petty drama. She hit the nerve that matters most. The massive gap between the image Meghan sells and the truth people are finally starting to see. Megyn Kelly didn't hold back. She straight up called out the whole production as a carefully crafted illusion. She said Meghan's version of real life apparently includes a lighting crew, staged moments, and even a backup fridge just to make the kitchen look symmetrical. And here's the thing, most people agreed. Even some of Meghan's longtime fans had to admit the whole thing felt hollow, like a mannequin trying to act human. And let's not act like this was a one-time flop. Meghan's had a track record of public projects falling flat when it comes to being relatable. Remember the Spotify podcast? Quietly canned. That children's book fell off the radar fast, and now this cooking fiasco, it's following the same tired script. Flashy debut, no real depth, and then crumbling the minute people take a closer look. But this time, the damage hit harder because we saw it. The visuals made the fakeness too obvious to ignore. It wasn't just reading a bad headline. It was watching her awkwardly fake her way through cooking in a setup that looked more like a spaceship than a home. Viewers could feel the weird vibe through the screen. The energy was off. The dialogue was stiff. And once the internet smells that kind of disconnect, it's a wrap. The memes weren't just for laughs. They were full-blown commentary. People were roasting her with edited pics of her cooking food she clearly never even touched. Slowed-down clips showed her flinching with a knife like she'd never held one before. TikTok lit up with parodies of her fruit arrangements and robotic delivery. The whole thing turned into a punchline, proof of what happens when someone mistakes control for connection. And behind the scenes, the pressure is starting to bubble. Netflix is already catching heat for dropping big bags on celebrity vanity projects while views drop and subscribers bounce. Megyn was supposed to be a safe bet, a name that guaranteed clicks and curiosity. But now, that shine's wearing off fast. Her content was supposed to give folks an exclusive peek into her life. But if that world feels faker than reality TV, what's the point? And here's the real issue. The longer this goes on, the worse the fallout gets. Every time Megyn rolls out a new project, it's pitched as a comeback, a new chapter, a moment where she's finally showing her true self. But every flop chips away at that image, that promise of authentic Megyn. It's losing all meaning. People are starting to expect the performance before she even opens her mouth. That's a dangerous spot to be in, when your name shows up and folks are already rolling their eyes, thinking, here comes another act. And the worst part, this opens the door to way bigger questions. If Megyn's faking something as basic as making breakfast, what else is a show? The lifestyle, the feel-good messaging, even the activism. It all starts to look like a carefully curated brand, not a real life. And no matter how glossy the visuals or how high the production value is, people feel it when something ain't right. This wasn't just a cooking flop, it was a trust flop. Megyn didn't need to be some master chef. Nobody expected soufflés and five-star meals. She just had to keep it real. Show the mess, own the chaos, be human. That's what sticks with people. That's what builds a connection. But instead, she gave us a sterile, perfectly posed moment in a kitchen that felt colder than a hotel lobby. And viewers emotionally checked out before she even finished stirring. Now, it's not even about whether Megyn knows her way around a stove. The real question is, can she earn back the audience's trust? Because once folks decide you're not genuine, once they stop believing you're real, that's a hard road back, and no amount of perfectly drizzled syrup, designer plates, or estate-grown honey is going to fix that. If she wants people to connect again, she's got to drop the act, and fast. So what do you think about this Meghan Markle mess? Was it just bad editing, or is the whole brand losing steam? Hit that subscribe, smash that like, and don't forget to share this video with someone who needs the tea.